This is for all you multi-talented, multitasking, multi-everything people out there. Take it away.
Find your glory, write your story, fearless feet will carry you. Time you own it, take your moment, be a fire burning through. Hustling from night until morning, grinding it out, it won't be long. Feel your power, it's your hour, you inspire, you are strong.
Enjoy your Zoa. No applause? You're all fired.
Hey, good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Money. Are you ready? They are ready. Covering the biggest events in the country right now.
There's a lot going on here this morning.
It's always a good time. That's what the show's about.
That's good.
Really good. Very good.
Coming in hot, Jimmy, coming in hot.
It's far from elementary.
Oh.
Good morning, America. I'm not going to try to strut like Michael or anything.
I have known George a long, long time.
Have you ever gotten him to dance?
Look at that face.
You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'll be there.
I am here and so happy.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'm in.
That tells you something when Snoop Dogg's in. Michael, George, where?
Ginger.
Prepare for a journey beyond imagination, beyond belief, beyond anything you've experienced before. Universal Epic Universe, a new theme park where you'll step through extraordinary portals to 5 immersive worlds. Prepare for a cosmic voyage of discovery, an isle of fire-breathing excitement, a shadowy world of monsters and mystery, new wonders in the wizarding world, and a new way to play. Plus the splendor of a magnificent resort hotel overlooking the park. It's all new excitement at Universal Orlando Resort. A week's worth of vacation thrills with 4 amazing theme parks, a variety of spectacular themed hotels, and incredible dining and entertainment. It's all at Universal Orlando Resort, where you'll find new adventures every day. Explore the astonishing worlds of Universal Epic Universe at Universal Orlando Resort.
Well, hello to you, and welcome into another edition of Braylon Lee's virtual tour live. Got to have all you here. I went out for just a little bit. Oh, Lord Jesus. It's hot. Yes, indeed. It's the 31st day of the Diddy trial. Closing statements yesterday, which was the 30th day of the Diddy trial, was the prosecution. Today it is the defense with their closing statements. So let's get to the getting and do what we do, because there is a lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Hire is waiting, low is available, but either way, we are live on tour. Let me take down that iconic intro there. Yes, indeed. Oh, getting older. Wait, getting older. Yep, I am getting older. You see that virtual tour background. Yes, you do. You hear that virtual tour music. Yes, you do. And then there is Amia. Hey, everybody. Welcome in. Glad to have you all here. Let's get to the gig and doing what we do, because we do have a lot to talk about. Yes, indeed, we do. Let me get our recap here from NBC News. Here it is here, just ended about an hour ago from NBCnews.com. Defense wraps up close. Defense wraps wraps close. Why do I feel I should be saying that? Should say defense wraps up closing argument, saying government's case against Combs falls short. Judge R. Surin said the jury will be charged Monday and then would then begin deliberations there. Okay. What to know about the trial? Defense attorney Mark Afanello. Sorry, child. This has been a long day. It's hot. Complete his closing arguments by saying the government failed to prove any allegations of racketeering charges filed against Sean Diddy. Combs Anfanello said the defense made no attempt to dispute allegations that Combs' Barrett then girlfriend Kathy Ventura. We own the domestic violence. I hope you guys know that, he said as he began his closing. Despite acknowledging the physical abuse, Anfanello described the relationship between Combs and Ventura as a great modern love story. What modern love story do you know that has a woman dragged by her hair, her head on the headboard of a bed, getting warts and black eyes, getting dragged and mollywopped in a hotel hallway? That's a part of a great modern love story. Oh my Lord Jesus. Holy. Well, we got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. Judge R. Surin said the jury will be charged on Monday and then begin deliberations. Combs faces 5 criminal counts, one count of racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs has ferociously denied the allegations against him. This live briefing may include graphic descriptions of sexual violence. For resources on sexual assault, call the National Sexual Assault Telephone Hotline. And of course, sign up for the Diddy on Trial newsletter for key developments and analysis, and listen to the podcast. Dateline True Crime Weekly for daily coverage. Ooh, they changed it up here because it used to be, what was it? I think the Diddy on Trial Deadline Nightly podcast. I think that's what it was. But here we go. Prosecutor urges jurors to hold Combs accountable. The clock has run out for Combs. Prosecutor said as she urged jurors to finally hold the music mogul accountable. The defendant thought he was above the law for the past 20 years. Comey told jurors he got away with crime after crime without consequences. The courtroom could finally be the venue where Combs might meet his match, prosecutors said. For 20 years, he got away with his crimes. That ends in this courtroom. The defendant is not God, he is a person. And in this courtroom, he stands equal before the law. Overwhelming evidence proves that. It's time to find him guilty. It's time to hold him accountable, rather. Comey spoke to jurors for 77 minutes. Judge Smearing sent the jury home and asked them to return before 9 a.m. Monday. So imagine, right? After 6 weeks of testimony, you go home and you have all this with you mentally. Can you imagine this weekend for them? Like, I mean, where do you go to like breathe? Away from all this stuff, because child, it is hot outside. Like, let's see how hot it is in New York. New York weather right now. Let's see New York weather. Okay, it's like 70 degrees right now in New York City. Okay, it's 70 degrees in New York. But Saturday, 81 degrees, and then 87 Sunday, right? But like, do you go on a ferry? Do you go to a pizza shop? Like, do you go to Eminem's World in Times Square? Like, do you go to the Disney store? Like, what do you do to get away from all this? Like, I feel like every weekend has been monumental, but I feel like this particular weekend is the most pivotal weekend because this is the weekend before they start deliberating in potentially the biggest verdict probably of the 20th century, to be real with you. Prosecutor says Combs beat Jane with a vengeance. A terrifying assault that Jane, she said, suffered at the hands of Combs last year was an example of being beaten into submission. The prosecution said the then girlfriend didn't want to have sex with another higher belt escort and let Combs know. The prosecutor said Jane may have started that fight, but he finished it with a vengeance. Combs said he has literally beat her into submission. Sean Combs won that fight, and he made her pay by performing with Anton. She had no reason to lie about that. That is facts. I know a lot of people are saying that, Jane, she made herself available for these things. Remember, Jane said that P Diddy was still paying her rent. Remember that. Jane said that P Diddy is still paying her rent. Remember, Jane said that P Diddy is still paying her rent. And I think, people have missed the mark of, this is bigger than sexuality, right? This is bigger than being an adult and doing adult activity, or having adult activity and doing adult activities, rather. This is about control and power. And if you cannot see that from the 10 album deal that Cassie had when she was only able to make one album, and that, where Cassie moved, who Cassie talked to, her money for her income, where she lived, her career, like all that was controlled through by Sean Diddy Combs. Like it was to the point where Don Richard talked to Cassie Ventura and Diddy got upset. Even though they were talking about music, the thing that Diddy hired Cassie to do with a 10 album music deal, he got upset with Don by them talking about music. So yeah, there was manipulation and coercion for sure. And also too with Jane and with all these relationships, we gotta remember, just because they were in a relationship doesn't mean everything was consensual, right? So I think a lot of people miss that. And listen, if you haven't been in a relationship like that, thank God for it, right? But for people who have been in a relationship and you ask them like, why couldn't they leave? Well, guess what? It was either they leave and they are not here to be able to leave, or they stay and suffer. It's a fight or flight energy, right? So yes, indeed there. Combs paying close attention to these final moments of argument. As Comey hammered away at Combs, the defendant paid close attention to the prosecutor's rebuttal argument. He sat close to the defense table with his hands crossed on his lap. Women felt like they had no choice but to give in, prosecutor says. By the time Combs beat up Ventura during the infamous 2016 hotel incident, he was at a stage of his psyche where all demands need to be met, or else, the prosecution said. The defendant took this to an extreme point. By the time he got to the Intercontinental, he was so far past the line he couldn't see it, Comey said. The one commonality these women shared was their shared abuse by one man, Comey said. The cycle of abuse made them feel trapped because they were trauma bonded. And that's very true. I mean, I think it was Jane that said when reading Cassie's lawsuit, it felt like she was reading her own trauma, right? So yeah, I think that was either Jane or Mia, but one of the ladies did say that. Prosecutor says Combs' sexual desires were predictable and insatiable. Combs' former girlfriends had no reason to lie or share a common desire to have sex with male escorts, the prosecution said. These freak-offs and hotel nights were all allegedly the brainchild of one person. Combs' desire for these nights were predictable and insatiable, Comey said. She urged jurors to take these women at their word. The defense makes all kinds of claims of why they're lying, Comey said. Remember, these women have no reason to lie. No acting awards handed out in court, prosecutor says. The former assistant Mia testified truthfully about the sexual assault she endured from Combs, prosecutor said. Mia is not some trained actor putting on performance, Comey said. No one is handing out Tonys or Oscars for performances in this courtroom. She was here to tell you what happened. The former girlfriend, Jane, didn't sue Combs, so she too had no incentive to lie, according to the government. If she was looking for a payday, where's the loss, Comey said. There is none, because she was not trying to copy Cassie. And I will push back just a little bit, right, on this. Because if Jane really wanted to, she could sue Diddy. And if Jane did that, they were going to say that she was copying Cassie anyway. But the fact that she didn't, I really think allowed her to actually add to Cassie's lawsuit, right? Because when you hear Jane's testimony, it is eerily similar to Cassie's lawsuit, right? So Ventura, Jane, and Mia were forced into sex they didn't want, prosecutor says. 2 former girlfriends and a former assistant said they were sexually assaulted by Combs, despite the defense's assertions that the sex was consensual, according to the government. All 3 women made it clear they did not want to submit to acts pushed onto them by Combs, Comey said. These 3 women had no reason to lie, Comey said. Sean Combs had plenty of help because he can't do anything on his music mogul ran a criminal enterprise with the help from plenty of employees who helped him do nearly everything in daily life, Comey said. The prosecutor mocked Combs' inability to execute a host of daily tasks, arguing that was indicative of his need to use his inner circle for nearly everything in life. This is a guy who can't get his own water bottle or plug in his phone charger. She said he is a general, not a foot soldier or lieutenant. And I fully agree with that, because when he said, can somebody get my Apple TV? I'm like, bruh, like, are you behind on technology? Because you can just log into your Apple TV on your desktop, on your tablet, on your phone, or on your TV, right? Like, holy. Capricorn Clark was kidnapped to go to Kid Cudi's place, prosecutor says. Capricorn Clark, a former aide to Combs, was taken against her will to confront Kid Cudi in what amounted to a kidnapping, Comey said. The prosecutor said it was laughable to believe defense assertions that she was there willingly to help with the break-in. Combs wanted to confront Kid Cudi with a pal, according to the prosecution. And Finello said Sean Combs was a hands and fist guy, sure, with his girlfriends, Comey said. See, this is the thing that I really don't get. Right? You're saying that he was a hands and fist guy, sure, with his girlfriends. But in the same token of that, you're also defending his behavior. Like, which is it? Where's your scooter? Where is it? Where's your scooter? Where is it? Where's your scooter? Where is it? Shout out to Nene Leaks, by the way. Prosecutor says Combs didn't hire male escorts for centralizing conversation. Comey mocked the defense for arguing that Combs' frequent hire male escorts was just for their time and not related at all to sex work. It doesn't pass the laugh test. Common sense tells you that he did not pay them for their incentivizing conversation. The lead prosecutor said in her rebuttal it was for sex. Even if there was not a spoken or written agreement for sex, the intent was clear for Comey. What matters in the law is what was on Sean Combs' mind when they crossed state lines. She said Sean Combs intended to pay them for sex when he transported them. When they collected their paycheck, they were getting paid for the work they've done. And that is true, because if you remember, there was a sex worker that got paid for a trip for like $5,000. Even though they paid for that, that car was under multiple accounts, one of many accounts that was ran by Bad Boy Records. Okay, so there's that. No more excuses for Combs, prosecutor says. The defense offered nothing more than lies and excuse after excuse for Combs' inexcusable behavior. Lead prosecutor Comey said she began her rebuttal closing arguments. Make no mistake, this trial was how in Sean Combs' world no was never an option, she told jurors. Sean Combs didn't take no for an answer, not from employees and certainly not from girlfriends. Judge tells jury just to worry about this defendant and no one else. Following an afternoon break, Judge Miriam reminded jurors that they are not to be concerned about who the prosecution has not charged in this case. In his defense closes, Anfanello questioned why others were not targeted for prosecution other than Combs. The judge said arguing that Combs is the selected target, is the target of selected prosecution was not appropriate. And I will say this, the defense team has been having more flags on the play than the prosecution. Just saying. Defense asked jurors to have the courage to vote not guilty. And Vanello wrapped up his presentation, imploring jurors to set his client free. You should feel the courage to call it as you see it. I'm asking you to summon the courage to do the right thing. He said, I'm asking you to acquit Sean Combs of all counts. He is not a racketeer. He sits there innocent. So return him to his family who has been waiting for him. And Finello spoke for 4 hours and 3 minutes compared to Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic, whose summation lasted 4 hours and 49 minutes. Okay. So from what I am hearing, And from what I'm hearing and what you're listening to from the rebuttal, right? They are reinforcing the fact of, hey, listen to me. I know this fantasy land of wonder, imagination, and surprise is great, but when you take off your rose-colored glasses, it's a broken down theme park. Okay, so please, for the love of God, you know, you know what? I'm going to do it. I am just going to do this. Give me a moment. I love our damn show. I really, really do. I'm so wrong for what I'm about to do, but it is what it is, because I feel like this is this is what the prosecution was trying to say to the jury. Okay, give me a moment. Okay, right here. This is what the prosecution is trying to say to the jury in their, rebuttal argument as, the trial officially closes of all testimony, right? So this is what the prosecution is trying to say to the jury. This is what the prosecution is trying to say to the jury in their rebuttal arguments here.
I think the point you're making is, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you have never held anybody against their will.
I don't need to. Why would I?
Well,
how stupid would
never
it be
held
for
anybody.
R. Kelly, with all I've been through in my way past, to hold somebody, let alone 4, 5, 6, 50, you said. Why? How stupid would I be to do that?
I didn't say you were holding.
That's stupid, guys.
I didn't.
Is this camera on me?
Yes. It's on.
That's stupid. Use your common sense. Don't forget the blogs. Forget how you feel about me. Hate me if you want to, love me if you want, but just use your common sense. How stupid would it be for me to, with my crazy past and what I've been through, right now I just think I need to be a monster and hold girls against their will, chain them up in my basement and don't let them eat and don't let them out unless they need some shoes down the street from their uncle. Robert, stop it. Y'all quit playing. Robert. I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. Y'all, I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career.
Robert.
Wait, 30 years of my career. Y'all trying to kill me. You killing me, man. This is not about music. I'm trying to have a relationship with my kids, and I can't do it. Y'all just don't want to believe the truth. You don't want to believe it.
Robert.
You just don't want to believe it.
At this point, we briefly paused the interview to give Kelly a moment. His publicist helped calm him down, but Kelly's emotions remained very raw.
I hope this camera keep going.
No, we're going to let the camera keep rolling.
This is not true. Doesn't even make sense. Why would I hold all these women? Their mothers and fathers told me, we're going to destroy your career. It's real girls out there missing. It's real young girls out there being abducted, being raped, okay? They really are on chains. They really do have chains on their wrists, and they can't get out. Robert, and they're ending up buried in deep.
Robert, we have to have a conversation. Really, I don't want you just ranting at the camera.
Well, the reason why... So the reason why I was laughing, and believe me, I was not laughing at anything that he was saying, but when R. Kelly said, Use your common sense. Why in the hell would I do this? That's what the prosecution was trying to say. Use your common sense. Why in the flying fuck would P Diddy admit to any of this shit? Don't let the defense mollywop your ass mentally. That's what the prosecution was trying to say to the jury. Do not fall for the okie doke. That's what they were saying. Do not fall for the okie doke. Do not fall for the okie doke from the defense. That's exactly what they were saying. Now, once again, I know that this is at a very inconvenient time because of what R. Kelly went through. But hey, this was the reaction that I thought of like, that doesn't even make sense. There's real girls out there missing, being abducted, being raped. That's what the prosecution was trying to tell the jury. Listen, do not forget the testimony that you heard from the two ex-girlfriends and everybody. We had 34 witnesses. The defense didn't do shit. That's what they were saying. The prosecution was saying that to the jury in so many words, okay? Let's get back to the timeline here. Oh, my Lord. Prosecutor says Combs didn't hire. Oh, yeah, we read all that there. Right here. I think yes, we did that. No more excuses for Combs, prosecutor says. The defense offered. Read that. Okay, so we read this here. Okay, so now we're right here. Okay. Evidence of pals meant to tank Combs to jury. Defense says evidence of firearms possession was introduced to do nothing more than smear Combs, his lawyer argued. You brought out a big, nasty scare pal to scare you. For what purpose? Infinello said to make you think he's a bad person. Infinello said the government should have had a better accounting for which weapons were found. If this were an important element of the case, that can't possibly be true. What that was that them doing their best. He said that can be reflected on how much you trust them. So if I remember correctly, right? Not only were the pals, had the serial number scratched off, but I remind myself of DDG and Haley Bailey. You're probably wondering, what does this have to do with that? Remember when DDG said that Haley had a pal that was registered to DDG? That's just like these patterns that happen when they say, well, my kid did it, but it's your pal, right? So like you're trying it way too much. And not to mention they were collected in the raid. And we all know what Diddy said to Capricorn Clark: get up, I got my pal, you coming with me, you got no choice, I'm going to unalive Kid Cudi. That was verbatim his words, okay, because Capricorn Clark said that. Hiring male escorts is the same thing as buying sex, defense says. Despite Combs' frequent hiring of men from escort services, that shouldn't be viewed as a sexual act, his defense said. No one ever said, hi, I'm a male prostitute, and Fernello said there was not evidence of that. When Combs asked an escort agency for a discount based on all he spent in previous hires, the company was pointing out that he was just paying for time, and Fernello said. So... So I want to stop right here for a minute because I want to do a hypothetical with you all, right? I just want to do a hypothetical. Let's just say that Diddy had a YouTube channel, right? And let's just say that on one particular day that Diddy did way too much and YouTube canceled his YouTube channel, right? Now, Diddy then says, and this relates to the case because you remember he has ferociously denied all allegations, right? Follow me here because we almost over with this, right? So like I said, Diddy has a YouTube channel. He canceled himself because he did too damn much to his damn self. No one else did. So he did to himself. And YouTube shut down his account permanently, right? So then Strike one, you use someone else's YouTube channel, which you're not supposed to do because you're fully terminated. And then you come on YouTube and say, I'm suing YouTube, Google, and everybody involved, even though it was your own fault, Diddy, right? So this is just a hypothetical. So then, after you say you're suing YouTube, Google, and everybody else, you keep using YouTube. You follow where I'm going here? So then after you keep using YouTube, even though you said, Diddy, that you were going to sue YouTube and Google, then months and months later, you delete your social media accounts, right? Because you said it's getting too much for you, Diddy, right? It's getting too much for you. So then after it becomes too much for you, you make a website called DiddyOnTap.com, right? Make that website, you promote it, this, that, and the third, right? But you deleted your website, so how can anybody get to you if nobody knows you exist? Only then to make another channel, that's strike two, that you're not supposed to have, because if you terminate Diddy on YouTube, you're not supposed to be using anybody's account or making a new account. So that's two strikes. And then on top of that, you close your social media accounts, but yet you made new social media accounts? So were you stressed out or no? So I relate that hypothetical case to this when hiring male escorts is the same thing as buying sex. The escorts are there to do one thing and one thing only: have sex. So basically, you are paying for them to have sex with you, you dumb fuck. Like, what the heck? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it, right? So it's just like, you portray yourself one way, but the gag is you are a whole personification of destruction in this other realm that you're trying to hide people from. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. You know, I wonder if Diddy was in this hypothetical situation. I wonder what Anonymous T would say about what a good streamer can do. Let's see what she has to say.
Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content. Because here...
One more time, Anonymous T.
Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content.
One more time. One more time. Just one more time for the one more time.
Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content.
And on top of a good streamer can find other content, if you were that big, Diddy, in this YouTube situation, why would you try to come back to a platform that you're suing? So to relate this to this case, when he is ferociously denying all allegations, when all this testimony came out, bruh, something in the Kool-Aid ain't sweet. You saying you didn't do all this shit, but yet they found 34 witnesses to testify against you, and the defense didn't have one fucking witness to stand up for your ass? Something in the Kool-Aid ain't sweet here. It just ain't. It just ain't. It's just not sweet here. And on top of that, I saw a video from Aubrey O'Day from Daddy Kane, and she said if Diddy gets out, he's gonna go after everybody. Here's the thing, right? If you didn't do what you did, Diddy, and you just utilized your kingdom to be good to people, to respect yourself, and to move about yourself accordingly, you wouldn't be in a lawsuit. In the words of Karen Huger, I know she's in jail, but she did have many iconic lines. One of those lines was, I'm only judging what you're giving me. So guess what? If you get out and you try to get on everybody else, motherfucker, you still got civil lawsuits. You can't get upset with people for talking about your ass. You a public figure, right? And that's the third strike here, right? Because you're banned off of YouTube in this example. You know, we're using Diddy and YouTube as an example here. But when YouTube finds out that you're breaking the terms and conditions, you don't think there's not going to be consequences for that shit? Because you have created a trail for them to find your ass. So, bro, you are in this shit because you created a trail for them to find your ass. You can't showcase a trail when the trail hasn't been created. You dumb fucks. I can't do it. I can't do it. Once again, anonymous, what can a real streamer do?
Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content. Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content. Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content. Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content. Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content. Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content. Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content. Because here's the thing.
Like, what it is, what's up? Anonymous T, what can a good streamer do?
Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content.
Thank you so much, Anonymous T. One more time for the people in the back.
Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content.
Here it is. Let's roll on, everybody. Like I said, if what I'm saying ain't true, don't respond to me. But if you do respond to me, it must be true to some damn degree, okay? If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if you let it fly, it must apply. Rolling on. I just wanted to give that hypothetical example if Diddy screwed himself in another instance to just relate to this space that we're in of this trial of, bruh, you vehemently deny allegations when there is a trail to show that you did the shit that you did. You called Eddie Garcia back to let him know that video of you can end your career. Basically, you called Eddie Garcia back to let him know you know what the fuck you did. I don't get it. I just don't get it. So, defense says Jane thought of freak off with porn star Anton like Spring Break. Woo, Lord Jesus. Spring Break. You mean Freaknik? Freaknik, rather? And Vanello said that in January of 2024, Combs and Jane were not seeing each other. At some point, they were in Vegas having sex, and Anton, a porn star Jane reached out to for freak-offs were there. She says, I showed my friends it sounds like Spring Break. Okay. It was the defense's effort to portray the freak-offs as consensual, and Finello further insinuated Jane and Anton had a sexual relationship outside the freak-offs with Combs. Combs didn't know about, and Finello hammered on, saying that there were holes in her testimony, and that on occasions when she got violent with Combs, it was likely because she wasn't getting what she wanted and needed from a financial standpoint. She had previously testified that Combs paid her rent. Exactly. Right? So basically, do as I say, or you're not going to get anything. Or either that, or listen, I will shut you up, but you better not go anywhere else. Right? And not to mention, too, you're leaving out a crucial part, right? That even though Jane did consent to these freak-offs, she consented to these freak-offs to, give him love, right? Because she was looking for that from him. And like I said, this defense team is so dumb as fuck because they don't understand, because they probably never had a relationship like this. Hopefully their daughters are not in a relationship like this, where just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean everything is consent, right? And so hopefully you don't have a dude that says, "Oh, you with me? I just get to have you anytime I want." No, that's not how that works. No, and no. And in addition to that, Jane said a couple of times that she just wanted quality time with Shonda Combs. And during one example, he went on a podcast and talked about how he had extended time for another woman, and that young lady was Young Miami. So she was upset that he would spend more time with other women rather than even making any time for her because she was making time for him. So you left that part out. You're trying to control the narrative. Like I said, this is the dumb fuck who said 1 bottle of baby oil goes a long way, and the government found over 200 bottles of baby oil. Defense tries to portray hotel nights as beautiful, enjoyable experiences. Well, you know what? How about y'all take the defense team to 47's International Hotel, strip them of all their clothes, put in some escorts, bring in some transsexuals, and lock the door and walk away. Let the escorts have at it. And let's see how they think it's beautiful, enjoyable experiences. What the fuck is wrong with you? I just don't get it. I am so freaking lost. I mean, when the defense team rather says they're smart, this is what I want to do. What did you say? Let me sit down for this. You say you were smart? Child.
Time is slipping away from me.
Time is slipping away from y'all. Don't make no damn sense. Infernello portrayed Combs' sex marathon, drug-fueled hotel nights, or freak-offs as pleasant experiences in beautiful hotel rooms with great music. He said there was no way on earth Combs was ever going to release videos of these sex encounters. Look at the videos you heard from Jane. There's a report. Everyone's smiling. It's a sex part. They're eating food. Cassie's eating watermelon. They're listening to a lot of music. Really? You just had to bring up watermelon? Now, y'all know that is a history with our culture, because back then, when they had blackface and in the cartoons they had the big lips and everything, and learn your history. So, like, what the fuck, man? Out of all things, watermelon. You could have said they were eating wings. You could have said they were eating crab legs, but no, you had to say watermelon. What the fuck? They are listening to music. 2 escorts called to testify said there was a lot of talking and hanging out. He said there's a nice quality to these evenings. I would have said, Mr. Infernello, would you take part in one of these evenings yourself? This is not about me. No. You said there's a nice quality to these evenings. Would you partake in an evening like this? Or better yet, could we throw your daughter into one of these hotel nights or freak-offs? Would you accept that? We just threw your daughter in one of these hotel rooms and just let them have that? And the daughter would be like, what the hell is wrong with you, Brent? I'm sorry, but your dad is not giving a fuck about domestic violence and sexual abuse. So I just figured that he just wouldn't care about your ass either. Like, I just don't get it. Oh my Lord. Okay, we still got more to come. The defense blows by the 3-hour mark in closings as the clock struck about 2:12 p.m. Eastern. Defense lawyer Infernello completed his 3rd hour of argument on behalf of his client. The defense had earlier said it needed about 3 hours for summation, so that estimate will end up short. Defense says nothing wrong with Combs taping homemade porn. Combs shooting homemade porn. Combs shot homemade porn, and that isn't a big deal, his lawyer said. Sir, is it not that big of a deal? Because maybe you might have had a couple of encounters of you being a part of that yourself in your own personal life, or were you the actor, or were you the director? The defense could see that the defendant regularly shot footage of his girlfriends having sex with male escorts as he watched and shot footage during these hotel nights or Wild King nights. He's not the only man in America making homemade porn, and Fennell said. The attorney insisted Combs will never use the footage for blackmail. Hang on a second. Oh my God, I need this. Cause, are you serious? Are you really that serious? Are you really that serious? Because I just want to know. Are you really this serious? All right. Like, what the hell? Actually, hang on, because I need the visual. Okay, that's why I need the. I need the actual visual here. Here we go. Like, are you serious, bro? Are you serious? Are you serious right now? Oh my God, I can't do it. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Because, like, he threatened Cassie with the tapes. Cassie was about to kill a man if he, was going to release the tapes. He threatened Jane with the footage. Like, did you not hear that in the trial? Like, I know I'm in Ohio, and I know you're in the courtroom in New York, but are we seeing the same thing? I just can't do it. Not here, not there, not anywhere, Brain Lee, I am. I just can't do it. Jury to be charged Monday. Court is back in session. The jury will be charged first thing on Monday, Judge Smearing said. Then they can start deliberations. Lunch break called with the case nearly headed to jurors. Judge Smearing sent the jurors out for lunch, asking them to return to the court before 1:45 p.m. And Fennell has been arguing now for 2 hours and 45 minutes. Probably has another hour to go, he said. Comey said her vote will take about 90 minutes, which is about an hour and 30 minutes, everybody. Smearing said he hopes to charge jurors at about 4 p.m. and have them ready to deliberate on Monday morning. Defense disputes that Cassie was raped. And Fennell disputed Cassie Venture's claim that she was raped by Combs in September 2018 after they broke up. The attorney argued, I suggest to you, baby, it did happen. Excuse me, Mark and Fennell, when did you grow a fucking vagina? I would really like to know when you had a sex change in this fucking trial. Because Terry Garrett goes, that bitch asked Jane about what back she had and fucking over the fact that she had been sexually abused and had domestic violence happen to her. What the fuck? But, let your daughter come to you and say, Dad, I was great. Well, I suggest to you, baby, that maybe it didn't happen. Maybe it was all a dream. In the words of Biggie, baby. It was all a dream. Maybe it was all a dream. What the fuck is wrong with you? Lord Jesus. Diddy really thought this white bastard with privilege was really going to get him out of this shit. Okay. And Fennell signed a September 27th text where Cassie said, I had a lot of fun with you. Thank you. I told myself I didn't want anything to happen. While they were together, she got a FaceTime call from her current husband. The defense proposed she lied to her current husband because she thought she was ignoring his call and said she was raped by Combs. Why would she lie to her husband about being raped? That means she would be lying about her own trauma. Like, what? You know what? At this point, Mark and Fennell and the defense team are moving like this.
It's not just feeding the hungry only on Thanksgiving. It's an everyday situation. You know what I mean? This is 265 days a year.
That is funny. 265 days. Where the hell that bitch live at?
It's not.
This day, we still don't know where that bitch lives at, Dini. Like, you are having a 265 day a year mindset. Do you think that any woman's gonna come to you for you to defend them after you said in a courtroom to a jury that I suggest to you that maybe it didn't happen, that this woman who stood that was here for 4 days of testimony, that she gave her blood, sweat, and tears to all of you, that she didn't get great to you wasn't there? What the fuck is wrong with you? Okay. Infamous hotel beatdown was an argument over a phone. The defense tried to minimize the infamous 2016 Los Angeles hotel beating of Ventura, implying it was an argument over Combs' cell phone. Anfanella showed how one point of the footage, Ventura was carrying 2 bags in her left hand, something in her right hand, while Combs was pursuing empty-handed. Moments later, in the footage, Combs has a phone in his right hand. Anfanella's implication was that Combs had confronted Ventura to get his phone back from her. I'm sorry, I don't know of anybody who has to mollywop somebody to get a phone back. You're just like, hey, listen, can I please get my phone back? I know it's like, ooh, I got your phone and boo-boo, but like, seriously, I just need my phone back. Like, you don't have to mollywop a person. And that's why I did the thumbnail that I did of you reading the text, baby, I'm sorry, but yet you showing footage of Diddy mollywopping Cassie. And like I said, this is the white bastard piece of shit that Diddy thinks is going to get him out of this shit. I just can't. I can't. What the prosecution mollywopped y'all ass yesterday, and this is the best you got. Y'all listen. People going to come and go. I could care less. Okay? I've been covering this thing every day at 6 o'clock. And honestly, you cannot be laying down, sitting, chilling, whatever you're doing, and not feel some type of way about any of this, but regardless of what side you're on, right? So miss me with that. Because this is the thing that really ticks me off, is that for everybody defending Diddy, this did happen to your daughter, but it could have happened. This didn't happen to your wife, but it could have happened. This didn't happen to your grandmother, but it could have happened. This didn't happen to your niece, but it could have happened. This didn't happen to your cousin, but it could have happened. This didn't happen to your auntie, but it could have happened. This didn't happen to your sister, but it could have happened. But if it happened to any one of them, would you have the same fucking energy? That's the question I have. And no one seems to be able to answer that question. Nobody. It's crazy. People will defend somebody that person will not give a damn uck or ish about you. If you were on fire, they wouldn't piss on you, save your life, but yet you defend their behavior anyway. Child, I can't. Defense name drops Michael B. Jordan as one of the world's most handsome men. What the? Anonymous C, please. Can you tell the people what a real good lawyer, a real good streamer, a real good anybody can do, please?
Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content.
Like a good lawyer can find other points to defend their client. What does this have to do with the case? What does this have to do with the case? What the flying fuck does this have to do with the case? I don't understand it. Let's roll on. In the defense's ongoing effort to paint Ventura as a tough woman who could have been a victim of Combs, Anfanella said that she had all the confidence to date the handsome Michael B. Jordan. When she wasn't seen with Sean Combs, she was with Michael B. Jordan, the most handsome man in the world. She was not going to slow down. Anfanella says she's at a high level. She has sexual confidence, good for her. She's not clutching her pearls. This was her lifestyle. Sir, do you know what you did? Because you said Michael B. Jordan's the most handsome man in the world, you basically is saying Diddy's ugly as fuck. in so many words, bro. Oh my God. Jason Momoa, what do you think of this stupidity? Jason Momoa is sitting down like, brother, can you believe this shit? Actually, you know what? Hang on, let me get somebody who's a little bit better. Who's a little bit better. Who's a little bit better at this? Because I what? Give me a moment, because let me see. So I'm trying to find her announcement here. I'm trying to find her announcement. Y'all will understand why I'm doing this here in just a minute. Right here. Listen, in the words of Monique, okay, of what's going on with this defense closing argument, listen.
Believe this shit, I done came on home to Netflix. And y'all believe this shit, I done came on home to Netflix.
Not that part, but the can y'all believe this shit?
And y'all believe this shit.
No, we can't, Monique. We can't believe the defense is this fucking stupid. Back to our timeline here. Like, what? The most handsome man in the world. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with the statement because People Magazine made it, but People Magazine, they're a magazine, you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But like the fact that you brought up this point, like it doesn't help your defense, Diddy. Mark Anfanello looks like a dumbass. That's because he is. Oh my Lord, I just cannot. Defense says sex trafficking charge is lowest hanging fruit. The defense argued the claims made by the prosecution don't constitute sex trafficking. Rather, this was Combs and Cassie Venture's personal sex life, and Anfanello called the charge the lowest hanging fruit. This is his girlfriend. There's no suggestion that he's making money from this. This is their personal life. There are swingers. This is their lifestyle. No. This is Diddy's lifestyle, and Cassie acquiesced to it. Because Diddy said in the beginning of their relationship, listen, I'm a swinger. I swap out partners. I do threesomes, menage a trois, okay? Cassie was not here for it. She wanted to have a child with Diddy. And Cassie was jealous of Kim Porter. Just like Jane was jealous of Young Miami. So no, that is bullshit. Oh my God, I just cannot do it. He said evidence shows Ventura wanted to participate because this is how they are close. Your likes and their likes become one, and that's what love is, and that is what was going on with Cassie. No, Cassie was in a situation where if you didn't do as I say, your life is over. That's what was going on. Defense argues drug allegations are a distraction. What? You had Britton and Paul who said that he got drugs for Diddy. Diddy texted Christina Corkman and D-Rock, a former bodyguard, to get drugs for him. He had ecstasy, ketamine, Coca-Cola, Molly. What? This was said in the trial. Breon Boglin said Ray J was a drug dealer. That Ray J was a drug dealer. Ray J, that's what Breon Bokelin said. Don't get mad at me, bro. Okay, your name was Rob in the trial, and then you tell the people, I gotta leave. I only got like 7 minutes. You don't tell people that you're leaving. You leave. What the hell is wrong with you? That's why Brandy is all the way in heaven and you all the way down in hell in Hades' asshole with Amber Rose. Good Lord Jesus. Combs possess drugs, but only for personal use and not for distribution in any criminal enterprise. Guess what? Coca-Cola is illegal. Don't know if you know that, Mark Anfanel, but that's illegal. You cannot be buying that and using that, okay? That's a crime. Yeah, that's a crime. Yeah. He didn't do that. My Lord Jesus, his defense said Ventura considered Combs a drug addict with a preference for painkillers, ecstasy, and Xanax. Anfanel said distribution as part of a racketeer conspiracy, and there's no evidence of that. He gave drugs to people at the free calls. What the? Oh my God. Okay. It's the gaslighting for me. I mean, my Lord Jesus. That's like saying, oh, the sky is pink. No, it is blue. Yes, it is. The sky is pink. Motherfucker, you wearing pink glasses. No, I'm not. Oh, damn, the sky is blue. What? Defense attacks me as testimony. This is where love and money came together. This is not where love and money came together. This is where hate and control came together. What? Defense attorney Mark Anfanel attacked the testimony of Mia, a former assistant who worked for Combs, and said he sexually assaulted her. This is where love and money come together. Mia loved working with Combs. She loved the work she did. Forced labor is when you want to be out there, so it's possible, he said. Anfanel, at an online post, Mia made wishing Combs a happy 45th birthday, sharing wanted sexual contact between Sean Combs and those were prodigal. Prosecutor said that was a part of her job, and that's how she really felt. Just because you post the good times don't mean you ain't going through no bad times. What the hell? Let's see your social media. Let's do a social media eye on you, Mark Anfanel. Let's just see how it's going as the fireworks are going off behind us, ladies and gentlemen. What in the world? Court is back in session. Before jurors re-entered the courtroom, Judge Smearing told Anfanel not to openly speculate about why the government chose to pursue the charges it did against Combs. Anfanel, for you, please don't do that again. Smearing said it is grossly improper. But yet, the defense team been saying the prosecution's been doing the most. The judge has called out the defense team for more improper, grossly, problems that they've caused. Then the prosecution, the only time the prosecution ever got, chastised with something was when an article came out about some sealed information. That was the only time. Besides that, nothing from the prosecution. Defense claims it has the right to be sarcastic. What? Okay. Lead prosecutor Maureen Cohen complained to Smearing about from the government's point of view, improper arguments made by the defense. The defense at points makes sarcastic comments about charges against Combs. Respectfully, Anfanel said, I think I'm allowed to be sarcastic. Guys, I gotta tell you something. She can suck on a bomb pop. She can suck on me. What the hell? You can't be sarcastic in a federal sex trafficking trial. Do you not realize that this jury is going to decide the fate of one of the former biggest stars in the world, and you're being sarcastic about his life and the verdict that could be happening by Friday? Oh my God. You know what? This is not working out for me. I just I need my naked gun people. Naked gun people, please. Thank you so much. Oh my Lord. Okay. Judge calls for morning break. Inferno's summation has gone 94 minutes, with Sumerian called for a 15-minute break. The defense had earlier said its closing argument should last about 3 hours. Defense says Ventura wasn't kidnapped. The defense said that claims that Cassie Ventura was kidnapped and held in the London hotel in Los Angeles are false. On May 14th, Ventura had testified about incident in January 2009 when Combs beat her after an event in Los Angeles in an SUV and stomped on her face. When they got back to Combs' home, he saw her face was bleeding and swollen. He had his security take her to the London hotel. She testified that she wanted to stay at Combs' home to recover, but wasn't allowed to stay to a hotel where she stayed for about a week. Combs' attorneys argued that she went to the hotel for her own good. What? Oh my God, y'all are desperate. I mean, y'all are acting like the Ricky Smiley morning show. Tattered, broken, and just trying to do anything to exist. You ain't moving like this. Call me entertained, by the way. Great content creator. Y'all ain't acting like the Tom Joyner morning show. Y'all acting like the Ricky Smiley morning show around here. What the fuck is wrong with you? She went to the hotel for her own good. Bruh, Cassie said it herself. Like, he did the DV. He did the domestic violence. What the hell? I mean, look. Just say that y'all got defeated yesterday and y'all just said, listen, we're going to just, in the words of Marshall Scott, we're just going to throw anything to the wall and see if it sticks. Just say that shit. Child. That's like getting mad at people for having their own opinion, and then tomorrow night you're going to go online and talk about people who have the right to their own opinion. Like, what the hell? When the facts showed, for a long time, we didn't hear nothing about that show. What the hell? If you don't hear anything from a cast member or a trailer or a press release, contrary to popular belief, people are going to use their common sense and be like, oh, the show isn't coming back because I haven't seen anything about the show coming back. Really? Okay, child. All right. Okay. But here's the gag: without those content creators, you won't have a job. Because who the fuck is hiring your ass? If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if you let it fly, it must apply, child. It's nonsense to accuse Combs of torching Kid Cudi's Porsche. Combs denied he tossed a Molotov cocktail into Kid Cudi's Porsche, destroying it in 2012. Hank Fernella insisted that if its client had beef with the rapper Scott Miss Cudi or Kid Cudi, it would have led to a one-on-one brawl. Now let's talk about this nonsense with the Porsche. Hank Fernella said there is no evidence that he had anything to do with the Porsche. But he did say that the car would blow up while Kid Cudi and Cassie were away. He did say that out loud. He did say that. Yeah, he did say that. 1 hour into defense closing, Fernella has been speaking for more than a little than an hour now, and Combs appears to be fully engaged. The defendant was sent up close to the defense table next to Brian Steele and Alexander Shapiro. His energy and attention looked to be much higher than during yesterday's 5 hours prosecution closing arguments. Yeah, because the prosecution was mollywopping his ass. Defense calls beating victim Ventura a gangster. Sir, the only white person who can use gangster is Eminem, okay? My name is who? My name is who? My name is Slim Shady looking ass. Like, what? Oh, my God. Listen, I guess Mark Anthony went to so many cookouts and said, listen.
Time is slipping away from me. Yeah. Time.
I guess time slipped away from him that he forgot he was white. What the hell? Cassie was a gangster. Cassie walked around like a sunroof top, sin in the thing with a gangster lean. Despite all that Ventura suffered, Hank Fenella says she wasn't defenseless. I am not going to be judgy, but she played them good. That's not something anyone can do. Sir, you had the white dassy, white proxy, white imagination to do this. I'm not going to be judgy, but then you were just judgy. Oh my God. Ventura had a relationship with Kid Cudi and used a burner phone during her time with Combs, all showing that Cassie is like a gangster according to Hank Fenella. You know the clip that I think of from Power? Y'all remember when Ghost went to Tariq's room and held a power to Tariq's head and said, "The penthouse, why'd you leave the door open? Why?" And Tariq was like, you ain't gonna do nothing to me. I'm your son. And yeah, guess what? If you wasn't my son, you would be dead. And you know why Kanan's son was dead? Because he became an enemy. And when you opened up that door to me, now you're my enemy. Keep thinking you're smarter than me. Don't make that mistake again. If Mark and Fenella was in that situation, he would cry shitless, saying that Cassie was a gangster. Oh, we're almost done, y'all, with the defense closing arguments. Defense said Ventura and Combs had a great modern love story. Combs and Ventura were a great modern love story. Hank Fenella said, despite the stomach-turning violence that marked so much of it, it's complicated, but they are truly in love with each other, and that's what defines their relationship. Sir, they are no longer together. What you should have said is complicated, but they were truly in love with each other, and that's what defined their relationship. So you can't even speak properly either. Oh my God. I can only imagine what it was like in the courtroom actually hearing this said verbatim. I can only imagine. It's based on love. If that's love, I would hate to see what hate is. Oh wait, we saw for 6 weeks. Ventura eventually left the relationship because she always had the freedom to do so. Oh, shit. If racketeering conspiracy had an opposite, it would be their relationship, Hank Fenella said. What? Racketeering means there was a crime committed through a criminal organization. Cassie wasn't a part of a criminal organization. She was an employee in a criminal organization ran by Diddy. Oh my Lord. Defense concedes that Combs beat Cassie Ventura. Well, no shit, Sherlock. The video came out. Hey, listen, guys, listen. Hey, listen. We know that this is a piece of shit bastard. We hope you guys understand that, Now, all the other shit he didn't do, but we hope you understand that this man mollywopped a woman, and we hope that you guys can at least acknowledge that we acknowledge that and forgive the rest of the dumb shit that he that he did. We own the domestic violence. I hope you guys know that. I feel like Mark and Fenella wanted to do a little something like this. Just a little something like this. Give me a moment. Just give me a moment. Give me a moment. Because I feel like he was just trying to sing this to the audience, right? He was trying to sing to the audience of, guys, listen, I feel you, I see you, and I embrace you for how you feel. But believe me, I do. Believe me, I'm not negating what he did. 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 So, to that point, this is what Mark and Fenella tried to do with the jury today. Okay. Here's what he tried to do. Here we go.
Anybody following that R. Kelly story like I am?
Oh, yeah.
That Gayle King interview is real good. Gail's all calm.
She was amazing.
How can I work How can I get paid? How can I take care of my kids? How?
Your ex-wife.
Sounds like a good song.
Can we get some music?
Here's the deal.
Sure.
I'm just being honest. I don't know how to hog tie people. What would I hog tie? You don't want to believe it. How? How can I pay child support? How can I work? How can I get paid? This ain't not about music. How can I take care of my kids? How can I work? How can I get paid?
At this point, we briefly pause the interview to give Kelly a moment. Robert. 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 Robert.
Y'all trying to kill me.
Robert. 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 Robert.
Nice. You asked for it, you got it. Put a little music, and you got the new R. Kelly mix.
That's pretty
I
good.
agree, Robin Quivers. That is pretty good. Thank you, Howard Stern, Robin Quivers. Oh my Lord, let's get back to our damn timeline. Just, I feel like the jury's like, do you play us for a fucking fool? We saw the video. But Anfanello urged you to remember the charges facing Combs. He did not do the things he is charged with. Racketeer and sex trafficking, the attorney said. He didn't kidnap anyone or obstruct justice. He is going to fight to the death to defend himself against what he did do. He did give $100,000 to Eddie Garcia to get rid of the tape. Yeah. America is safe from Astroglide. If I was Astroglide, I would send a cease and desist letter to Mark Anfanello of saying, shut the fuck up. Okay? All right. Moving on. Anfanello mocked law enforcement for their raids on Combs' homes, making America safe from Astroglide. Combs' bedroom proclivities were on display all trial, but Anfanello said the government did make its case to show his client to be a criminal kingpin. Way to go, fellas. You guys just do you, Anfanello said. They took Astroglide baby oil, and that's evidence in this case. There's nothing about the business to make it a criminal case. All I gotta say, Mark Anfanello, is I hope your closet's clean. Because if Astroglide or baby oil comes up for you, the government is going to drag your ass from the hottest of hots of Miami, Florida, all the way up to the coldest part of the world, the North Pole. Like, America is safe from Astroglide? Oh my God, employees still loyal to him, attorney says. Anfanello leaned heavily on the devotion of Combs' employees who, even after testifying, took violent or irrational behavior by their boss, said they were still grateful to work for him. The attorney conceded that working for Combs was like drinking from a fire hose. I think a better metaphor would be working for Combs was like having an unlimited bank account that you could withdraw money from. I think that would have been better, because the fire hose, you know, if you're drinking from the fire hose, there's a fire, you're using it for the wrong purposes. Okay. But said that employees still appreciate the experience. Did they always like him? No way, Anfanello said, but they loved him, even the ones who are suing him. But yet nobody on your side, Mark Anfanello, wanted to come up as a defense witness to defend Diddy. Okay. Defense says Combs being charged for a lifestyle. Anfanello accused prosecutors of putting his client on trial for his lifestyle and not crime. It's a trial of a lifestyle. If you want to call it swingers, that's what it is. That's what the evidence shows. You do realize, right, after 34 witnesses, that there's a lot of BDSM clubs, okay? There's a lot of people that are freaks. And there is Temptation Resort and nudist beaches and la-di-da-di everybody. okay, in between. There is no way in hell that those people would ever, even the BDSM community, would ever accept anything that happened in this trial being acceptable in the BDSM community. Because even BDSM is about consent, sir. So stop the shit, okay? I mean, to defend a lifestyle so much, maybe your ass might be a part of it, Mark Anfanella. Good Lord Jesus. It's a trial of a lifestyle, if you want to call it swingers. That's what it is. That is what the evidence shows. He told jurors, prosecutors have charged one of the most serious, complicated, one of the most serious, complicated, and comprehensive statutes on the books. Defense lawyer called his client a highly successful businessman. You know, if he was a highly successful businessman, he wouldn't be on trial right now. Because he would have business to attend to. Sean Combs has become something that is very, very hard to be. Anfanel continued, he's a self-made, successful Black entrepreneur. I know not all white people had something to do with slavery, okay? So don't even give me that shit. But it's so white bastard that this story is going to be like, does he really care about Diddy being a Black entrepreneur, or is he saying that as a virtue signal? Like, come on now. A final push for Combs commences. Anfanella begins to address jurors in a final push to convince them that Combs is not guilty for running a criminal enterprise aimed at satisfying his sexual desires. Testing the mic, Anfanella paced around the lectern, tested his microphone to see how far he could walk from it and still be heard by the court reporter. Defense readying for his closing argument. U.S. District Court Judge Arn Sumerian gavelled court into session today in what figures to be the final pre-deliberation morning of this trial. Combs entered the courtroom, gave his family a wave, heart signal, and then a thumbs up. Closing arguments for the defense start. Mark Anfanella will deliver closing arguments for the defense from 9 a.m. And it should last about 3 hours. So 9 a.m., 9 to 10, 10, 11, 11 to 12. So it should last about 3 hours. That will be followed by the government's rebuttal given by Maureen Coleman, which should last an hour, but came out to 90 minutes, which is 1 hour and 30 minutes. Finally, Judge Smearing will deliver the jury charge. It's almost time for deliberations. Once the defense is through, U.S. District Court Judge Arn Sumerian could have up to 2 hours of instructions for jurors before they can start discussing evidence. That should set up the panel to begin its deliberations late this afternoon or fresh Monday morning. Next week is a short one with the court night session on July 4th. Now, there was I think, if I'm not mistaken, one of the videos we watched, they said that even though the 4th of July, even though the court will be closed on Thursday, right, for the 4th of July weekend, that doesn't mean that the judge can't open up court for the jurors to come in and deliberate, right? Defense gets to summarize its case today. Defense attorney Mark Anfanella said he hopes to complete his closing arguments in about 3 hours. As a comparison, the government had expected to wrap up its summation in 4 hours before Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic eventually took 4 hours and 49 minutes. And that is everything you need to know of the 31st day of the Diddy trial there. So I'm going to bring this person up here because let me see here, because I think this person said it best right here. Let me bring him up. Like I said, shout out to all the content creators in New York, been making it do what it do, for sure. Just want to shout them out because let me tell you something. Whew, Lord Jesus, this has been one for the books, okay? One for the books, one for the books, one for the books. Here it is here. Hang on. Give me 1 second. Okay, give me a moment. I'm trying to bring this clip up. Why are you not? I don't know why it's not allowing me to. Let me see if I pull this on another tab. Maybe. There we go. So as y'all know, Queen Sheba has been making it do what it do. And by the way, y'all, she's at 77,600 subscribers. Congratulations to her. Listen, all the content creators, all the influencers, all the independent artists, bloggers, correspondents, all of y'all have been doing the damn thing. But I think this response right here says it all right here. Let's listen.
All right, y'all. I wish I had something to say. It gets worse. This is $1 million mistake, if you ask me. I don't know what the hell is going on with Mark Agnafilo. I was expecting a razzle dazzle. I was expecting a WWE SmackDown today because the government did their thing on yesterday. I was expecting the defense to come in and kick these doors wide open. Mark Agnafilo is up there acting like an old drunk white man that's just rambling. I was so embarrassed, y'all. I'm embarrassed. I have secondhand embarrassment. I had to leave the damn courtroom. I'm sorry. I could not sit there. It is cringy. It ain't making no sense. And Mark, did you go out and get drunk last night? What is going on?
She is asking, what is going on? Did you get drunk last night? Good Lord Jesus. All right, y'all. Shout out to Queen Sheba, making it do what it do there from New York. Hopefully she's staying cool because it is hot all across the country. Some dynamic video here from our partners here. Michael, why this face, bro? I love you, Michael. Straight hit, but bro, what's going on here? Roll it on.
Now we're going to turn to closing arguments in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. Defense attorneys making their case this morning, and the music mogul's fate could be in the hands of the jury later today. Chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky is at the courthouse with more. Good morning, Aaron.
And good morning to you, Rebecca. The defense is about to tell the jurors all the reasons to doubt Sean Combs' guilt after federal prosecutors told them it's time to hold him accountable.
I survived what I've been through. Y'all got drama, the saga continues.
This morning, defense attorneys delivered their closing argument, hoping to convince the jury alleged victims of Sean Combs were really consensual sexual partners. Combs' 6 children and his mother expected back in court, where prosecutors argued the hip-hop impresario used power, violence, and fear to force Cassie Ventura and a woman known by the pseudonym Jane into drug-powered sex marathons with male prostitutes, telling the 8 men and 4 women on the jury they only need to find one single freak-off when Combs deployed lies, threats, or violence. That's sex trafficking. Jurors once again saw Combs on 2016 hotel surveillance video attacking Ventura while she testified she was trying to leave one of the freak-offs. And prosecutors reminded jurors that Jane testified Combs is paying her $10,000 monthly rent. They argue he used it as leverage.
I just want to give you the heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all, at all.
He knew that threatening to take away her home could turn a no into a yes, prosecutor Christy Slavic said. That's coercion. And prosecutors told the jury Combs had help from an inner circle of loyal lieutenants. To convict him of racketeering conspiracy, the jury must find they agreed to commit 2 underlying crimes. There are hundreds of alleged drug offenses alone, and other options like arson. Rapper Kid Cudi testified he suspected Combs was behind the firebombing of his Porsche. The defense argues there's no direct link to Combs, but prosecutors said the evidence and basic logic suggest otherwise. The courtroom is expected to be packed again for the defense closing. Combs himself has appeared rather relaxed, gesturing to his family and carrying a book, The Happiness Advantage, The 7 Principles of Positive Psychology.
There is there. Thank you, Aaron Katursky, for sure. And then we got some dynamic video from Eyewitness News, ABC 7 in New York. Here we go.
We turn to the racketeering and sex trafficking trial for Sean Diddy Combs. Today, it is the defense's turn for closing statements as they try to raise doubts about his guilt and the charges he's facing. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einiger is live outside the courthouse with the latest. Hi, Josh.
Well, Tanya, hi. How are you this afternoon? After weeks of listening to sordid details involving Sean Combs' sexual proclivities, this jury of 8 men and 4 women are finally hearing the defense's closing argument in this case, Combs' final chance to convince the jury of his innocence. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo told the jury this case is not about sex trafficking, but about love, going so far as to call it, quoting now, a great modern love story involving Combs and his former paramours Cassie Ventura and a woman known only by the pseudonym Jane. Now, during 5 hours of closing arguments yesterday, prosecutors depicted the rap mogul as leading a criminal enterprise designed to manage his sex life, deploying his staff to procure drugs and cash, hire male escorts, and compel the women into performing in so-called freak-offs, slick with baby oil, high on drugs, forced to have sex for hours. The defense team claims, however, those encounters were all consensual, and less about criminal conspiracy than about Combs' sexual preferences, which they say are legal, if unusual, or perhaps even deviant. Agnifilo even mocked the prosecutor's case at one point, saying, quote, "They found the baby oil. They found the Astroglide. The only crime scene is your private sex life." Now, Combs declined to testify in his own defense as he faces 5 federal counts ranging from sex trafficking to racketeering conspiracy. If convicted, he could face a life sentence in federal prison. His defense team expected to wrap up their closing argument sometime this afternoon. We're live at federal court in Lower Manhattan. Josh Einiger, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
And there you go, as you can see here from Court TV. Courtroom erupts in cheers as Diddy's defense team finishes their closing arguments there. So yes, indeed, there. A couple of stories for you all here, and then we'll just chill out for a little bit. From U.S. Weekly, Diddy's former bodyguard says he's fleeing the United States after trial, sign and adequate and imminent threats. I'm sure. Sean Diddy Combs' former bodyguard says he fears for his life and plans to flee the United States after the rap mogul's trial wraps up. Due to the situation and the circumstances, I've decided that's probably best for me to live outside the states at this point indefinitely. Absolutely. Big homie CC told Piers Morgan on a Friday, June 27th, Piers Morgan Uncensored. Big homie, whose real name is Emmanuel Nguyen, said that speaking out against Diddy during his sex trafficking trial has put his own life at risk. There are some adequate imminent threats to me, he said, and I made an agreement with my mother that at a certain age I would eventually try to settle down, have a family, wouldn't partake in violent acts and stuff like that anymore in the line of work. Diddy was arrested in September 2024 and charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He has pled not guilty to all charges and has denied all of the allegations against him. His trial began with jury selection on May 5th, and as of Friday, the jury is hearing closing arguments. We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office. Diddy's attorney, Mark Anfernello, said in a statement, at the time of Diddy's arrest, he's an imperfect person, but he's not a criminal. To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative, like he had a choice with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Meanwhile, he was still planning freak-offs leading up to his arrest. Please reserve your judgment till you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. Did that happen though in court though? That happened. Oh my Lord Jesus. Since his arrest, Diddy has been held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. His 4 requests for bail were denied by Judge Arnstein, but Big Homie thinks there's a chance Diddy could soon be a free man. He could be out next week, he says. I know if he walks, I'm going to be target number 1, which is fine. I'm used to that. It's kind of exciting for me in my profession. It's what we live for. In a May appearance on Piers Morgan Uncensored, Big Homie told the host that he had already been poisoned 3 times since line of work, though he didn't clarify whether he thought Diddy was responsible. I've been powed, I've been stabbed, I've been poisoned, I've been, you name it. He added Friday, people tried to ill me before several times, asked whether he had whether he had ever illed anyone himself. Big Homie replied, never harmed anyone who did deserve it. That says a lot without saying anything. With Diddy's trial nearing its conclusion, Big Homie added he could envision a guilty verdict, but he does not believe the rapper will get a lengthy sentence. He may be found guilty on some charges. He might get 4 or 5 years, something like that. I don't see him getting a life sentence. Diddy could potentially face a lengthy prison sentence if he's convicted on even one charge, statutory minimum. For sex trafficking, it's 15 years, while transportation to engage prostitution has a maximum sentence of 10 years. If convicted on the racketeering charge, the rapper faces up to life in prison. If you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, contact the National Sexual Assault Hotline at 1-800. There we go. Sorry, y'all. At 1-800-656-HOPE. That's 1-800-656-HOPE. That's 1-800-656-4673. That's 1-800-656-4673. That's 1-800-656-4673. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. That's 1-800-799-7233. That's 1-800-799-7233 for confidential support. And if you or someone you know is a human trafficking victim, contact the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-800-373-7888. That's 1-888-373-7888. That's 1-888-373-7888. So there is that. There are a couple of articles from TMZ here. Diddy's defense, he's a domestic abuser, but no racketeer, wasn't charged with DV. Diddy's defense is making their closing argument in his criminal trial, and they are owning the domestic violence testimony, but they're saying there's no way he's guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking. Mark Anfanello, Diddy's co-lead counsel, was handling the defense's closing argument Friday, and he told jurors he owns the domestic violence stories. Charges here. Diddy's attorney says the bad boy founder would plead guilty if he was charged with DV, but it's a state crime and this is a federal case. And Anfanello scoffed at the federal charges his client is facing, saying there's no way Diddy is guilty of RICO or sex trafficking his ex-girlfriends. Anfanello told jurors this case is about love, and he claimed love had been said more than 800 times in a 7-week trial, similar to what Anfanello said. And similar to what Anfanello told TMZ last year after Diddy was arrested in Manhattan, he points the finger at the feds. They are targeting a successful black entrepreneur and going into his bedroom to find dirt, making light of federal raids that found baby oil and lubricant in Diddy's homes. He cites Diddy's hard work growing his business empire over decades, his diversity, choice, and hiring for DEI. Diversity, equity, inclusion was even a thing Combs was doing at 24 years old, Anfanello said. So there is that there. So there is that there. And then right here, in case you guys did not know that, we covered this last night on Brainley's Virtual Tour Live here for Chit Chat with QT. Shout out to that sister there. Diddy and Justin Combs sued. They lured me to LA for gang rape. Diddy's son, Justin Combs, lured a woman to Los Angeles with the promises of getting her a job at entertainment. But when she arrived, she was kept in the house for days and ended up being raped by multiple men, including Diddy, at least according to a new lawsuit. In the lawsuit obtained by TMZ, the woman claims Justin initially contacted her through Snapchat. In 2017, they messaged back and forth with the woman, eventually sending Justin risque photos at his request. She says after she sent the snaps, Justin offered to fly her out to LA for a weekend. The woman says she was interested in working in entertainment and told Justin as much in their conversations, and she claims Justin told her a trip to LA would help her potential career, telling her if she came, he would get her job using his and his father's famous connections. In her suit, the woman says she flew out to LA in April 2017 and the driver picked her up in a black SUV and drove her to a house in Beverly Hills. She says she stayed in the house with Justin the first night, talking and relaxing. To her surprise, she says they did not leave the house Saturday either. When she asked if they were ever going to leave, Justin abruptly said no. The woman claims Justin offered her liquor and grass on Saturday, and she believed the grass was laced due to the effect it had on her. She said Justin then offered and made her take various pills or poppers. Like father, like son. In the suit, the woman claims that they consumed multiple drugs. 3 other men showed up at the house in masquerade masks. She says one of the men was Diddy, who she says was recognized by his stature mannerisms. She said Justin referred to him as Pops. The woman claimed she was taken upstairs to a bedroom where she was told, you better let this happen or else. She says each of the 3 men took turns raping her anally and orally while she was drugged and incapacitated. She says the brutal gang rape went from Saturday night through at least mid-Sunday. Sound like a freak off to me. And she says Monday she was driven back to the airport and dropped off. She says during the weekend afterwards, Justin held the possibility over her head the possibility of a job on TV, as well as the photo she sent him on Snapchat. The woman suing Diddy and Justin for sexual assault and battery, gender violence, and more. She's going after them for damages. And of course, the lawyer is Tony Busby. So there it is there. And finally, here from TMZ, you're about to get that Diddy love he told you for the alleged rape. Diddy is being sued by a man who claims Diddy sodomized him at a house party after telling him you're about to get that Diddy love. The Bad Boy Records founder is being sued by a man named Brandon Adams, who claimed he was invited to a party Diddy was hosting in 2021, only to show up and be sexually assaulted. In the lawsuit obtained by TMZ, Adams claims he got the invite from a chauffeur he met at LA gas station. And when he showed up, he says he was told to keep his phone in the car inside the bash. He saw celebrities but didn't interact with them and had some alcoholic drinks that made him feel dizzy. Adams claimed that he found an empty bedroom, collapsed onto the bed, felt unconscious. The next thing he remembers is the feeling of a hand unbuckling his belt. He says he asked what was going on. He heard a man's voice he believes was Diddy answer, "You're about to get that Diddy love." And then there is the so-called president with the piece of shit bastard that should have been swallowed by his mother Janice in the suit, and also too this piece of shit bastard should have been swallowed by his mother Mary. Anyway, in the suit, Adams claimed he was rolled from his stomach onto his side and told, "Don't worry, you're about to get a great massage." He says he turned his head, saw Diddy sodomized him. Adams claims he tried to protest, but Diddy grabbed the back of his neck and thread and by signing the information on his driver's license, which Adams says had been scanned by security upon entry. And there are the white parties, ladies and gentlemen. He says Diddy finished up and left the room, and Adams says he felt pain and a vile sensation. Adams claimed he tried to confront Diddy, but was intercepted by security guards who carried him to another room and told him he could either play along and leave the party like nothing happened, or leave the hard way. I don't know what the hard way is, but I'm sure it was not pleasant. He says he played along with sold to sign an NDA. He claims once he signed, he was escorted to the exile out leave, but he says he got pulled over on his way home, arrested for DUI, which he blames on the lingering effects of drugs he unknowingly consumed. Adams is suing Diddy for sexual assault and battery, gender violence, and more. He's going after him for damages. And of course, his lawyer is Tony Busby. So, with that being said, there is an update here. As you guys know, at the top of the morning here on Berlin's Virtual Tour Live, we covered DDG and Haley Bailey, and there is an update here. Let's listen in to Anonymous T. Here we go.
I want to discuss as it pertains to Halle Bailey and DDG's custody battle, right? But first and foremost, DDG's sister posted after everything came out at the hearing that DDG would be able to see Halo, which we knew a couple of days ago. But basically, she posted, you guys know the famous clock that T with like your thumb and index finger that, I almost said something ignorant, with your thumb and index finger that people do now in these videos and everything else. She posted that basically, I guess is like a subliminal. It's like, now what? But really, it's not the drag that you think it is. Like these people who are celebrating DDG being able to see Halo, DDG has been able to see Halo this entire time. The only reason this is going to court is because DDG goes AWOL and has gone AWOL and only has presented himself to want to be this loving and devoting father to his streamer fans. But in real life, IRL, when Hallie is trying to contact him to get a schedule together for custody and everything else and not involve the courts, he was nowhere to be found. Whether it was Hallie, whether it was her attorneys or whoever, he was nowhere to be found. So that is why she had to take these measures. And on top of that, there were some DV related incidents as well that, again, not all of the information is out there. There's rumors that there's ring camera footage. There's rumors that there's other more damaging things to DDG that Hallie is really trying to spare him and still save him. And apparently he doesn't want to be saved. So nonetheless, I just wanted to get that out the way. Next, I wanted to talk about a couple of other updates from Cosentino, who actually was at the courthouse yesterday.
Touches of black. They say a lot without having to say much.
When this hearing took place. So one thing I wanted to speak on is regarding DDG's mom. So according to Cosentino, he is saying that the mother, DDG's mom, has zero restrictions. Hallie's lawyers tried multiple times to change that. They even pushed for DDG's time with Halo to be limited to the hotel only, so paparazzi and fans won't snap pics of them together, and the judge denied it. So I know DDG's mom, she's been posting Halo on Snapchat, I believe, and I don't know how this interaction is going to go, how this visit is going to go. I know DDG's brother, Dub, is coming out today to be out there in Paris. So I don't know who else from DDG's family is all going to be a part of this trip or when they all go to Italy, right? And so nonetheless, that is that on that. The next piece that I wanted to speak on as well is there was a request, from DDG's people on whether or not the nanny could testify. And basically DDG's family DDG's team did not want the nanny to be able to testify if she was going to be the chaperone. However, an update is that the judge did not grant DDG's team's request. What the judge said in regards to the nanny, she said that she didn't see why it would be necessary to block the nanny from testifying. And so the nanny is still capable of testifying if Hallie's team requests her to.
Come on.
So, and then this last piece is Cosentino's opinion. So honestly, DDG has to be careful with everything he does and says around them. I don't think they're capable because the family is still throwing shots at Hallie.
What did I say earlier at the top of the day, right? I said that was bullshit because at the beginning, middle, end of the day, if you're such a good father, in the words of Malago Scams, who was in her own trial for disrespecting a black woman. And I'm bringing up Malago Scans because she said, as long as you are a good father, it doesn't matter what you did to your baby mama and your child. So she basically saying, fuck the woman, fuck the kid. But yet she wasn't transparent about who the father of her kid was, allegedly. But yet she's in a whole trial with a criminal that powed a woman in the foot. But Malago Scams is a barometer of morality and authority. Get the fuck out of here. Moving on.
Bailey as we speak. They're still on the internet throwing shots at Halle Bailey as we speak. So any type of comment, any type of shade, anything, you got the nanny and you got the security. So wanted to clear that up because it was odd that they're agreeing to all of this and people wanted to try to lie on the nanny and say that the nanny's never met DDG when the nanny's been there. You wouldn't be scared of somebody that you've never known or you never met. Like make it make sense, you guys. Why would you be scared of somebody that you don't know and that you never met? Like we have to put two and two together. I need to know how old some of these DDG fans are. How old are y'all? Are y'all still in high school? Because it's not making sense, some of your guys' logic.
I agree. And to that point, by the way, shout out to Anonymous T, like, comment, share, and subscribe, because Anonymous T believes that.
Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content.
Let's get the Daily Motivator and get on out of here. Oh man, I love our damn show. Right here, I always try to believe the best of everybody. It saves so much trouble. Yard Kempley. Yeah, I try to believe that too, but also be alert that not everybody deserves that much love, grace, and space, especially when they don't give it their damn self. It's time for the day motivate. By the way, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if you let it fly, it must apply. It's time for the day motivator for Friday, June 27, 2025. Before mistakes happen, the best time to identify mistakes is before they happen. Potential mistakes are much easier to solve than actual mistakes. Once a mistake has been made, someone owns that mistake. Just as simple as to point out the mistake can cause resentment, even if it's your own. And contemplating your actions, put in the extra effort to identify what might be going wrong and evaluating the intention of others. Respectfully speak up when you see a potential problem and be prepared to explain in detail. Mistakes are sure to result in confrontations. Those confrontations go much better before the mistake is made rather than afterwards. Avoid the spectacle of blaming and defending past actions, whether with yourself or with others. Seek to hash out beforehand when there's a lot less on the line. Some mistakes are inevitable, yet many are preventable. Do you see all that you can do? Do all you can to see those before they happen, when they cost a whole lot less to fix. Ralph Morrison. I think that Diddy should have listened to this daily motivator. Because guess what? Anything that he's done was not a mistake. The first thing, right? The very, very, very first thing. Hey, Linnell Silla, welcome in, my friend. The first thing about before mistakes happen. If you own your responsibility for what you've done, there can't be any mistakes, right? So if you're always about your purpose, you won't make mistakes. You'll still make mistakes, but they won't be big mistakes. That's the first thing. The second thing I'll tell you about before mistakes happen. Respectfully speak up when you see a potential problem and be prepared to explain it in detail. Back in the civil rights movement, Congressman John Lewis always talked about causing good trouble. And I think it's a crime to other people when you see a potential problem, you speak up, but when they speak up, it's gospel. No. If you are that big, bad, and bold to say something about somebody else, somebody's got the right to say it about you too. What did Kendrick Lamar say? Don't tell lies about me. I won't tell truths about you. That's the second thing I want to tell you. And finally, do all you can to see those before they happen, when they cost a whole lot less to fix. You have to think of your life as a bank account. If you care about your bank account, you will care about who's depositing into your bank account. You will also care about what you withdraw out of your bank account, because not everybody deserves to be invested in. And with that being said, it's time for the best outro on YouTube. Know what you do and do what you know. Never say one more special, because you were always born a blessing. And trust, you may not be where you want to be, but by the end of it, you'll be where you need to be. Do what you've been chosen to do. Why? It's one thing to call yourself, another thing to be chosen. One love, much love, all love. I spend time with you. You spend time with me. And hopefully, by spending time together, around, we great together. I always remember we're doing radio, television, YouTube, live your best life, or you're just Mark and Finello and sorry ass excuse for a defense team getting ready to not have careers because you defended inexcusable behavior. Make sure the replay is not just ready for you to watch it, not just for you to listen to it, but for you want to experience it again. I love you, I value, I embrace you all. Always remember, receive love. In order to receive love, you gotta give it. Receive love, you gotta give it. Receive love, you gotta give it. Whatever obstacles you have overcome, whatever success you have achieved about this particular day, I'm extremely proud of you. But no one else is proud of you. Be proud of your damn self. And finally, y'all listen. I always say that sound equals purpose and noise equals attention. Sincerely, before you judge somebody for a moment, look at the totality of who they are. Because a lot of y'all have missed out on a lot of blessings listening to a lot of curses. And always remember, everybody, always remember.
Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content.
Thank you, Anonymous T. One love, much love, all love. I feel the love and send it right back to you. We got one more show tonight, one more tour at 8:30. If you want to come by for that one, please do. I look forward to seeing you there. But if this is your final tour, good morning, afternoon, good evening, based on your location. Like I said, I feel the love and I send it right back to you. Bye, everybody. And always remember.
Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content.
Bye, everybody.
I thought I should tell you they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that they have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that you were voted least likely to succeed, but like cream, you keep rising to the top. They've been talking about how they tried to burn your world down, but like the phoenix, you rose from the ashes. They've been talking about you. And you know what they say? Oh, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. But no, you ain't lucky. You're anointed. You got something on you. You got favor on you. You got power on you. You were born to win. Now they can call it luck, but it's grace. They can call it luck, but it's favor. But whatever they call it, it doesn't matter, because you know what God calls you? Do you know what God calls you? A winner.
Prepare for a journey beyond imagination, beyond belief, beyond anything you've experienced before. Universal Epic Universe, a new theme park where you'll step through extraordinary portals to 5 immersive worlds. Prepare for a cosmic voyage of discovery, an isle of fire-breathing excitement, a shadowy world of monsters and mystery, new wonders in the wizarding world, and a new way to play. Plus the splendor of a magnificent resort hotel overlooking the park. It's all new excitement at Universal Orlando Resort. A week's worth of vacation thrills with 4 amazing theme parks, a variety of spectacular themed hotels, and incredible dining and entertainment. It's all at Universal Orlando Resort, where you'll find new adventures every day. Explore the astonishing worlds of Universal Epic Universe at Universal Orlando Resort.
Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content.